Hi guys, welcome to Miss Angie's Kitchen again. Today we are making Rice Krispy Treats, and I am going to tell you at the beginning of this video that you can add extra things besides the basic recipe that I give to you. You can add extra things to your Rice Krispies. I'm looking at the back of my cereal box here, and that's where I'm pulling my recipe from today. So if you buy a box of crispy Rice Krispies, it'll have a recipe on there for you to be making the Rice Krispies. And the back of this box tells me that we can add extra things to our Rice Krispie bars, such as M&Ms. Looks like they added some chocolate chips and some extra marshmallows on top so that it'd be like s'mores. It also looks like they maybe added caramel. Oh my gosh, they drizzled caramel on the back of their Rice Krispie Treats. That sounds really good. In my house, one of the favorite things that my kids, my family, that everybody liked when I would add it would be toasted or just regular shredded sweetened coconut flakes. So we're going to add some of that into our recipe today as well. But you don't have to. You can just use the three things that I have in front of me, which is crispy rice. You're going to need a stick of butter, and you're going to need two 10-ounce bags of mini marshmallows. A couple other things that you're going to need would be a can of canola spray. I've used vegetable oil in the past, or if I didn't have a spray, I put a little bit of oil on a paper towel. And then you need to coat a 9 by 13 inch pan with this oil so that your Rice Krispie mix doesn't stick to the pan when you're done. And you'll also need a bowl large enough for once you've melted your marshmallows and your butter, and you're going to combine it with your cereal. You're going to need a bowl big enough to mix it. Okay, so here's how you coat your pan with oil. And I usually like to do this over the kitchen sink because sometimes it can get a little messy, but it was dinner time at my house. And so my kitchen sink has some dinner dishes in it. So that's fine. Did it on the counter. We can be flexible. So I just sprayed it, and it's all coated in oil. Okay, so now I came to my stove, and remember that when you're cooking on the stove, you should always make sure that the handle is turned in, so that way you can't bump it with your belly, and make sure that you stay away from the heat. Stay with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever's helping you to cook, okay? Because I don't want to see you get burned. This is very hot. So in a nice big pan, I put my heat on medium heat. We can always turn it up if we need to. I'm going to take my stick of butter, and I'm going to put it in the pan. I want this to melt. I love melted butter. I love melted butter on popcorn. That's probably my favorite way to have it. All right, so we want this to melt. Okay, for some reason, technical difficulty, I didn't push the button right. That shows me pouring the marshmallows into our melted butter. But that's what happened. Once our butter melted, I took the container of our marshmallows and dumped it in, and I've just been kind of stirring the hot butter. I turned my heat from medium to medium high, and it just takes a little bit of patience to get your marshmallows to melt. You kind of think it's just a big mess, it's never going to melt. Again, be patient because it will. Once it melts, it's ready for the next step. And the next step is going to be taking it back to our workstation and combining it with our Rice Krispies. And I don't know if you guys have heard it in my video or not, I'm just sharing. I really love birds. Miss Angie loves birds. I love the sound of birds. I like how they look. And today has been such a nice day that I have had my window open, and I've been so happy to hear the birds out there. So I hope you guys were able to get outside and enjoy that too. So, all right, I'm stirring it. It's coming together. So our butter and marshmallow mix is pretty much melted together. As I keep stirring, I'm going to tell you, if you wanted to try to melt this in the microwave, you certainly can. Just have a microwave safe bowl, put it in there, and maybe do it at increments or in like maybe 30 seconds at a time, just so you can keep an eye on it, because could you imagine for this to boil over in your microwave? So maybe 30 seconds at a time until it's melted, just like we're doing it on the pan. And I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. So next we're going to take it back to our workstation for the next step. Okay, so our next step was we added our whole box, it's 12 ounces of the crispy rice cereal, into our big bowl. And with the help of an adult, you're going to want to dump in your marshmallow mixture. How cool does that look? It looks like lava. Let me turn this way. And it's pretty sticky. And you know what? It is also very hot, so be very careful not to get this on your skin. Let's see if we can't get the last of that off. Yum. It's already starting to cool off. Okay. And here's the part where, if you remember, the recipe says that you can add things like M&Ms or chocolate chips or anything you wanted, some sprinkles. It's up to your imagination. We like coconut flakes. And I don't usually measure it out. I just kind of throw some in there. That looks good. Coconuts and marshmallow, they go really well together. And time to mix. So we're all done mixing. It took a little bit of muscle, but we're all done mixing. And here comes the next step. You take your 9x13 greased pan and you pour this mixture inside your pan. Mom and Dad, you might have to hold the bowl. Somebody can help your kiddo to pull all the Rice Krispies out. It's ooey, gooey, and sticky. All right. I have a little left in the pan. See if I can't get that out, or that's just going to be some that I snack on. Okay. Now make sure that this whole time you should have had clean hands. Wash your hands before. You might have to wash your hands in the middle, and you have to wash your hands especially before you do this. You can either do it without oil, or I take a little spray of oil. You can push it into the pan. Push it into all the corners. If you don't want to use your fingers, you could use that spoon that you use to mix. But I like how it feels when I do this, and I like how it sounds. Hear that crunch? I just really like how it feels on my fingers. Kind of bumpy, a little warm. And there we go. Now you just have to let these cool. Cut them into the square shapes that you want, or you can do rectangles. Maybe you want to do circles. You can do any shape that you want to. They're your Rice Krispies. And as soon as they're cooled off and cut, they're good to go. So, hope you had fun. We'll see you in the next video.